Welcome to Ask Me Anything, featuring spiritual medium and psychotherapist Kellee White.
Hi, everybody. I am spiritual medium and psychotherapist Kellee White, and welcome to Ask Me Anything. Today is May 30th, 2024, and how's everybody doing? Let me say hi to everybody. Anybody else have the flu this week? I'm dying to know. I had the flu for a couple of days, and I was really sick. I mean, really came out of the blue, and I want to know if anybody else had the flu. I thought it was kind of wild. I hadn't heard about any of people having it, so I'd love to know if anybody else got sick. But I feel really good now. Hi, MTV Media. Hi there. Hi, Judith. Oh, thank you, honey. Hi, MKD 1231 from Ontario, Canada. Hi, Sasha. Hi. Hi, Renee. How are you, honey? Hi, Sasha. Hi, Lisa. Hi, Barbara. Hi, Sarah. Hi, Glow. Hi, Barbara. Hi, Tom. Hi, Wanda. Hi, Kim Ann. Hi, Marge. Hi, Doreen. Hi, Vicky. She says hi to you too, Renee. Hi, Laura and Dee Dee from Chicago. Oh, Dee Dee from Chicago. Guess what? James and I are going to be doing a live event on July 25th. It's a Thursday, I believe, and it's going to be in Chicago, and we're going to be doing a demonstration, and it would be fabulous. So if you are in the Chicago area, anybody that wants to come and see us on July 25th, please do. It's going to be a lot of fun, and we'll do a lot of readings, so it'll be terrific. And I wanted to talk to everybody today about totems, and I am going to get into the astrology because I have a lot to say about the astrology. It's a very powerful time we're in right now. And but I really wanted to tell you why I wanted to do totems tonight. I don't know if anybody else, I'm sure a lot of people felt the energy this week or in the last several days. We had tornadoes, and I guess it was from last week on. We had experienced about 3 of them where I live. And from what I understand, that the wind was at 100 miles an hour. So it was pretty radical, and there were a lot of trees down. Somebody's house had moved. But one of the things that happened was my beloved niece, her name is Peggy, and she has a farm near me. Hi, Peg, if you're watching. And Peggy has a pig named Lily. So Peggy is an animal rescuer. And somebody gave her a pig, and it's now, Lily is enormous. I think she's 350, she's a big girl. And Lily has her own apartment, her own pig pen house. But during the storm that, wasn't a tornado at this time, but it was this huge wind, and it knocked the pen in a bad way. It knocked the roof off the pen. So when it was safe to clean it all up, Peggy and some other people were in the pig pen, literally sloshing about, trying to clear it up. And I want to show you what inspired me for today's show, because in the middle of the pig pen, Peggy got a picture of this. This beautiful blue butterfly appeared. And if you can see this, Renee is putting it up right here for everybody to see it. And just to tell you how rare that is where we live, Peggy has lived on that farm for 55 years, and she's never seen a blue butterfly. We just don't have them around here. I know they have them in Michigan, but we don't have them around here. And this one was so special. So the meaning, Peggy, if you're listening, and if anybody who sees a blue butterfly, the meaning is granting a wish. And especially people who've gone through so much deep transformation and have gone through so much. It represents a very special time. And for this blue butterfly to come out of the pig pen in the midst of this horrendous storm, I thought it was just such a gift. So I wanted everybody to see that and have that experience. So that's why we're doing totems today, because I love totems, and we're going to talk all about them. Dee Dee says, I did not find anything about July 5th. Yes, and the reason you didn't is because it hasn't been, I just announced it. I like a big blabbermouth. I announced it first. But it will, surely it will be up in the next, I'm going to say 2 weeks, something like that, as soon as we get a lot of things squared away with that. Okay, but thanks for checking. I do appreciate that. So let's talk about some astrology here, because this astrology is It's very the next few days are very intense, and I'm going to explain why as we go into June. So today is May 30th, and I'm going to start with Mars because Mars is the planet of action, energy, war, intensity, and Mars on June 1st. So today is May 30th, but on June 1st, Mars moves into Aries. It's been in Pisces for couple months now, and it is moving into Aries. Now, Mars is the planet that rules Aries, and that means that there will be a lot of energy in Mars. Mars is not debilitated like it was in Pisces. Mars is raring to go, and it goes on June 1st. This is a big deal because if you have needed energy to get your products out or your new position going or something new started, this is amazing energy. However, beginning today, May 30th, May 31st, and June 1st and 2nd, Mars is actually transiting from the last degree of Pisces into the first degree of Aries. And that's that cusp that we talk about between a water and a fire sign. And that's called Gandanta. And I haven't had to use that for a while because we haven't had that situation. But it's a complicated relationship because it's two elements and it's water and fire. So fire is extinguished by water, and water vaporizes in heat. And so this combination is very steamy and it's very potent. And so this energy, beginning today until about June 2nd, can be very emotionally strained. It can be very unstable. It can be turbulent. It could be very unpredictable. Okay, so just if you can, try. If you can, if you can't, let it fly. But try to manage your emotional tension because it's going to be, I think, a pretty intense time for the next few days here. And remember, Mars goes into Aries on June 1st, but we have this Gandanta situation first. But also on June 1st, we have another thing that will happen. And that is on June 1st, Uranus, the planet, and I'll go through this planet of shock and surprise and new age, it moves into Taurus. Now, why is that a big deal? It's a big deal because Uranus makes a complete orbit around the sun every 84 years. Every 84 years. So like Mercury changes signs every, 6 weeks, every couple of months. Jupiter once a year. So Uranus actually, because it takes so long to go around the sun, it will spend longer in each sign. And so the last time it changed signs, it was in Aries. It still is in Aries until a couple of days from now. But it was I think it was in July of 2016. It was in Aries. And now we're getting ready for it to move into Taurus. And so with that, when it moves into another sign, and especially Taurus, we're going to talk about radical changes that come up in the world. Because it's a very big deal, and it will stay in Taurus until April 20th of 2032. So it stays for a long time here. It will go back and forth. It will go back into Aries a little bit, a couple of times, but basically it will be in Taurus. So Uranus is the planet of eccentricity. So, whenever I see somebody who's a little eccentric, I think, oh boy, they've got a lot of Uranus in their chart. It's unpredictable. It changes. It can definitely be rebellion. And Uranus, ironically, rules astrology, psychology, psychic power, Kundalini life force, spiritual awakening, and energy of all kinds. And it has this restless, exciting, if you will, but very much a rebellious quality. And it signifies electricity, electronics, aviation, space, UFOs, AI, technology. And it also, we call it the bolt out of the blue. Like all of a sudden, out of the blue, something happens, right? So it's known to bring sudden and sometimes shocking changes. So it's connected to volcanic activity, earthquakes, lightning strikes. Ironically, we had during one of the tornadoes, we had an electric a lightning strike hit our air conditioning unit, one of our units, and knocked it out. That is the role of Uranus. So also, it's all about freedom and to be an individual and progress. And it has a lot to do with political and societal revolution. Okay, so now Taurus, if I just talk about Taurus, Taurus is a fixed earth sign. It has a lot to do with strength, fertility, creativity, material resources, primal forces of nature, the physical world. It's very consistent. It has a very good work ethic. It has a lot to do with enjoyment in life, okay? But now Uranus is going to be in Taurus. They don't get along very well. It's an odd combination because Taurus is conventional and it prizes things like stability, security, practicality, where the rebel Uranus likes to shake things up. So Taurus during this time, it's going to be could make things more chaotic, actually. Now, I found this really interesting that Nikola Tesla was born on July 10th in 1856. And he was born with Uranus right where we are right now in early Taurus in Vedic astrology is what I'm talking about, everybody. And that is a huge deal because Tesla, brought all kinds of unconventional new age energy out. So that's the kind of energy things that can happen during this time. And on a global level, it transforms our beliefs. Things change. In fact, they could really, the existing changes of things that we've known could really change in the next several years because the impact will have a lot to do also with the financial systems even. So this also, at the same time, beginning on June 1st, we're going to have a stellium in Taurus. And a stellium is a large conjunction where all the planets are close to one another in the same sign. And that's going to be, again, in Vedic astrology, the Sun, Venus, Jupiter, Mercury, and then Uranus. All of that is a lot of energy. And that could be a trigger point for a lot of changes in life. So let's say you have needed the energy to do something. This is a very powerful time to make some big changes because it brings a big bundle of energy. And this energy stays, I'm going to say, I believe it stays till around June 12th, this kind of intense energy. So I'm going to stop with the astrology here for now, but there's a lot going on. And I'll talk more about June a little next week. I'll talk more about June and I'll be writing that up. I just haven't had time to write it all up yet for June. So there you go, everybody. So welcome. And I'm going to talk about totems. Oh, and before I talk about totems, I want to mention one thing again. We are teaching a class on healing family trauma. And you may be the one in your family that says, I'm the one that's I need to break away from a lot of the belief systems or a lot of the patterns. So come and take our class. It's going to be on June 22nd, 2024, June 22nd coming up. And if you are unable to attend, if you purchase it in about 2 to 3 days, my assistant sends the link out to everybody who's paid for and so if you can't join us live, it's going to be an incredible experience because Carrie Gonia is going to be on it and she's going to be doing a family constellation for everybody. And so what she does with that is she opens up the morphogenic field, and it's extraordinary to take a class like this with her. And then Dr. Shirley Pellizzeri is going to be talking about somatic experience and healing from somatically in the family system. So Heather says, what is the time? The time is, I believe it is 11 a.m. Central Time. So I think that's 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern Time. and it's about a 4-hour class. We'll be taking all of your questions, of course, and it's a very intimate class and a lot of information. I'll be talking about spiritual tips and what brings a family together from the other side perspective. And please join us. It's going to be a really great class. So here we go. Oh yes, and help grow the channel of our community. That's much appreciated. Okay, so now we're going to talk about totems. And again, I love totems. My whole life, I used to have dreams when I was really, really young of these 6 tigers that were always by me. That's why I always have that tiger, if you can see in the back behind me on my chair. I always have a tiger. I love that guy. I love tigers. I just have always had an odd passion for tigers. And tigers are, surprisingly, raw emotions. Power raw emotions. Not a surprise to me. But I love tigers, and I just have a thing. You would think I'd be more like a lion because of the hair, but for me, it's always been tigers. But it was always I've always known, and even when I would spend time on the other side after my head injury, I would always be surrounded by these tigers. And in fact, before any of this, I was known in business, ironically, as the tiger lady. I don't think it was a compliment, but I didn't care. But anyway, because of the raw emotions, I think that was probably it. Probably always got myself in trouble. But anyway, I just love totems, and I love to talk about them. And Lori LeClaire asked this great question. She said, Kellee, is there a way to discover what your totem is? And I am going to talk about that. And if you don't know what your totem is, I should explain this before I even get into what totems are. But yeah, let me just get that up, because I think that's very important here. So we all have the difference between a spirit animal and a totem. That's what I wanted to get to. So a spirit animal is what I'm talking about. For me, I've known since I was a little girl, it was tigers. A spirit animal is like a spirit guide, and they come with you in this lifetime. And I remember my mom was not into animals whatsoever. And she would say, at one point, I was so obsessed with totems. And she'd say, do I have any totem? And I'd say, yeah, you do. I don't think I do. And I'd say, you do, Mom. Everybody has them. She said, well, what is mine? And I said, crow. It was always about a crow. Crows are shapeshifters, and they're very family oriented. And she said, well, that makes sense, because I'm always curious about the crows. So I thought that was kind of funny. But everybody has a spirit animal that comes in with you in this lifetime. And it shows you, like, through your own unique nature and skills, how to deal with the manifestation of your spiritual journey. So for me, I really have had to, probably use my passion, if I think about it from the tiger's point, with a lot of fierceness, and use it, and not backing down, but knowing my power within. And I think it's always been very important to me that I realize the work I do with tigers. I think it's very important. Now, a totem is slightly different. So all of us have, just like we have a spirit guide, all of us have a spirit animal. And we'll talk about how do you know what yours is in a minute. But to tell you the difference, a totem is something that brings you a message. So a totem can be an insect, a reptile, a bird, a mammal. It can be extinct. It can be mythical. It can be something that you've actually seen, or it can be something that you just had a dream about. And they're both significant, because a totem is a source of strength, and it gives you insight into what the message is. And so, are we all born with one totem animal that stays with us for life? I'm going to say a big yes, one, or at very least one, and some more. But we also, the universe has a way of surprising us. And when we least expect it, for instance, that blue butterfly, when we least expected to see something like that in the middle of slop. I mean, I don't know what else to call it. It was in the middle of a literal pig pen that the roof had been taken off by this horrific wind that we had. I mean, and by the way, Lily the pig, she is a tough gal. She is doing great. And she loves her new apartment, if you will. Loves it. She's such a sweet girl. We always bring her lots of sweets. She likes grape jelly. She does. She likes everything. Um, but anyway, so that's the difference. And so I wanted everybody to know that, what the difference was between a spirit animal and a totem. Because I think that's, again, it's important to know. And also, if you don't, is there a way to discover what your totem is? And Lori LeClaire, you asked this question. And yes, there is. Have you ever felt like you've been seeing the same animal over and over again, or you're like just drawn to, I don't care, it might be peacocks, it might be elephants, it might be, whales, it might be dolphins, it could be anything that you really, really, for a long, long time have resonated with. And it could be that you've had dreams over and over, because I cannot tell you how many dreams I've had with tigers. I stopped counting a long time ago. But if that's the case, if you have seen or had this feeling for certain animals, and you may not be an animal person at all, but something might just click in there. It could be a dinosaur. You're always fascinated by dinosaurs. It could be the oddballest of things, could be a unicorn, could be anything. That would be what I would call your spirit animal. Okay, and that's, again, it's a little different. And what they say is that the spirit animal is believed to provide protection and guidance on this life's journey. And depending on the animal, again, it can personify many different qualities and characteristics. Again, if I go with the tiger, passion, emotion, fierce, not backing down, all those kind of things. Oh, it fits me to a T. And they often offer insight into, if we're not very conscious of how we are, they can often offer us a consciousness about who we are, what we think, what we feel. So it's start paying attention. If you don't know, I bet everybody actually does know. They probably just haven't really thought about it much, or it's everybody's got them though. Everybody has them. So, and I love this. This is from Lynn Gert. She says, Kellee, I frequently see a horse when I meditate. Now, let's talk about horse, because it's such a big one. Horses are so healing. You also, when people meditate, you have to remember, often we'll have animals come to us while we are meditating. It's not just while we're asleep. And it can absolutely happen while we meditate. And she says, this horse guides me, and I've even ridden on it. Bravo. She said, I've always been drawn to them, even though I've never owned one. Could this be my totem animal? Yes. And it was, yes, the answer is. And she said, will it stay with me in this lifetime? Yes, yes, 1,000 times yes. Absolutely it is, Lynn. And horses represent several things, but one of them is freedom. One of them is a lot of freedom here. And freedom to be yourself, freedom to experience your passion, freedom to run, freedom to be a healer. Has a lot to do with healing, actually, also. And it has a lot to do with personal drive. And again, an appetite for freedom. So I'm wondering, if you are seeing the horse, is it something that you are needing right now, which it might be some freedom, might be some personal freedom here. So that's, certainly a thought though. So that is something. Sherry Craft says, I have 3 times the birds in my garden this year. What really stood out was a bright yellow tanager with a bright red face. Wow, that is amazing. That would, oh gosh, I'm such a bird person. That would definitely have to do with getting yourself out. Bright yellow is all about getting you out. Yellow is third chakra, but it's getting us out in the world, being seen. And a bright red face. I love that. And you have a raccoon as well. Wow. Those are all really, really good ones. Very good ones. So I wanted everybody to see that, because that's, I love that one. So let's see. And I know a lot of people wrote to me with some really good questions about the different totems that they have. So I'm going to go through some of these questions. Carlene Reese says, elephants have always been my favorite, but the first time I saw an anteater, I got extremely excited. That would be very true. Well, so if elephants have always been your favorite, I would say that that would be your spirit totem, your spirit, like a spirit guide totem. Now, elephants are for deep, sensitive people. They are extraordinary, and they bring about a peace that is, there's just nothing like an elephant. They have such deep family connections. It's all about feelings. It's about healing families, healing family units, that kind of a thing. And they bring also a lot of wisdom to them. I just love elephants. You can always tell when somebody has an elephant around them. They also move obstacles out of the way. So if you are having trouble, elephants can really help clear the path with everything. So I love to have elephants because I think they are amazing. And they also help with, sounds funny, but help with memory. So think of it like that. Maybe you need a little memory help. They would be the ones to help you. Okay. So Lee Star says, Kellee, do we have a totem for life? She said, I mentioned that you have a wolf when I had a session with you, and I said wolf totem. I must have definitely seen that clearly. Whenever I see, if I have a session with somebody and I see that totem, I have to say it. I just have to say it. So yes, we have a totem for life, and wolf is one of those that we have for life, actually. Wolf is one, if somebody is really attached or attracted to wolves, or wolf has the power. It means intelligence. It means instinct. It means, again, here we're going to say it again, freedom. It has an appetite for that. It has an importance of social connections, and it has to do with pay attention to your instincts, because it has such a strong instincts. It's huge instincts. So that is a good one. Cindy Rand, I love this question. She said, I've always had a strong attraction to manatees and beluga whales. I don't live near the ocean, but I was told that my placement 923 prefers to be near the water. I would believe that. But and you do live near a lake. So if you have had a strong calling for beluga whales, I kind of want to validate that for you, Cindy, because a few nights ago, I think it was Sunday night, before I got sick, actually, I had a dream of a giant beluga whale, and it was an ancient whale. And this is not the first time I've had this dream. It's the second time, actually. I keep a journal just for totem, so maybe that's something that everybody could do. But the whales in general mean the wisdom holders. And so if you might be the one in your family to hold the wisdom, and it could be physical and emotional healing. It has that. It means the keeper of history. And it has a really peaceful way of having strength. So it's a very high level of consciousness. Really, really a great one here. I love that one. So Wanda Mann says, whenever I see a hawk, I think of my husband because he loved them. Since my husband died, I've seen hawks more and doing strange, unusual things really close to me. Is it me, or does it make me notice things? When you're lonely and missing somebody, you wonder if it's your mind. No, Wanda. The hawk means the male psychic, and it's a very, very powerful totem, and it is definitely your husband trying to communicate with you. Hawks have a wonderful way of being able to talk to us and guiding us. And it gives us the power to focus. It means the power to see clearly. And there's a strong connection to spirit. So I would say absolutely that is your husband giving you that one. Thank you for that question. Ilana Moss Sherrod says, Kellee, I believe my totem is the dragonfly. Ooh, now how many people, raise your hand if you love dragonflies or if you see them, because dragonfly is a very powerful and very important totem. She says, I always see them in particular situations in my life. So then that would be your spirit totem. And so let me give you a little information on that, because dragonflies are really interesting. If this comes into your life, a dragonfly, it almost always means metamorphosis and transformation, very similar to a butterfly. So it's a really important pay attention to the messages. What are changing? What is changing you right now? What is about to change in your life? So Laura Crum says, my mom and Nana have always worn snake jewelry with red eyes and had many statue elephants around the house. The elephant's nose had to be up, probably in a positive way, or they would have not had it in the house. Oh, that's very fan. Again, elephants have everything to do with strength, security, family. And I know that you said that you're having a hard time, so let me get you a card from Messages from the Guides here. Let me just go through that, and I'll get you some messages from the guides. Whoops, thanks. Hold on a second. Well, that's interesting. This card popped out. Pride. I love myself, and I see myself in everyone. So, Laura, these are some very interesting times right now. So make sure you're taking care of yourself and have a lot of pride in yourself. And everybody seems to learn what they're supposed to learn when they're going to learn it, is what I have learned in families. Or maybe they don't learn it. I don't know. But I will tell you, families are something, aren't they? So, oh, I know, Kim Ann, wasn't that a beautiful butterfly? Thank you. I thought that was just beautiful too. I so appreciate that. So, let's see. Ann Rogers says, just before closing the blind in my bedroom, there was a pure white moth. So pretty. I thought of my mom. And today there's another white dainty moth on the porch. So beautiful. Mom again. I've got chills. Ann Rogers, definitely your mom. And again, our families, our mothers, our fathers, our husbands, our spouses, they'll come to us. Our children will come to us in a way. Sometimes it'll be feathers. Sometimes it will be a cardinal or several. My niece Peggy also had at one point a few months ago, I think she stopped counting at over 25 cardinals on her, outside of her, on her farm, just on a fence. It was unheard of, but she's had a lot of loss. I mean, a lot of animal loss too. So if you've lost animals, they would show you signs with different signs. It could be butterflies. It could be cardinals. I mean, definitely, okay. So just remember that. Our loved ones on the other side, whether they're whoever they are, they show us signs and they show up for us in ways you just would not believe. So Stacy Thompson says, a pretty skunk walked across my road in front of me on my way home tonight. And then an eagle flew over my car being chased by a smaller bird. Okay, Stacy, let's break that down. I'm going to say, wow, that is a lot right there. That is extraordinary. I love that happened. So, oh my gosh. A skunk and an eagle. So an eagle is all about aspiring to push you to reach your higher self and more than what you think you're capable of. So it does push you along. They push you in a different set of consciousness. They really tell you to be courageous and they stretch your limits. So when you see an eagle, it means go out and explore. Go out and explore, because that is a big deal. And then to see a skunk. Oh, we've had skunk stories. They are something else. Skunks also have a lot to do with beauty and looking at things black and white, and things that don't have to be black and white. Looking at the beauty of different things, and things may not smell the way you think they are. It has different meaning. It's a different consciousness. It's a way of looking at yourself in a different way, probably. But that's a really good one. Very, very good. Has anybody ever seen a praying mantis? Praying mantis is an extraordinary totem. If you haven't seen a praying mantis, it is one of the most spiritual totems that you can see. We've had a couple of here where they'll be in stillness, and to me, they're just so spiritual. And it actually means to go inward when you see a praying mantis. And it asks you to still your outer mind and to go within. And it has a lot to do with the spiritual and emotional powers. I mean, I always think that they're the gurus. They have their hands like this. Very important. Oh my gosh. So I know a lot of people are afraid of snakes. And I know, Laura, that you had asked about snakes. And snakes mean healing. They mean transformation. They mean life changes. And the spirit of a snake, snake is connected to life force, our primal energy, and always brings spiritual guidance. I was with my dad once, and we were driving in the Hollywood Hills, and I was driving, and I was going very, very slowly because we're way up in the hills, and you can only go like less than like 5 miles an hour anyway. And we saw in front of us a giant hawk right in front of us, came down and picked up a rattlesnake right in front of the car, picked it up, and flew off with it. And my dad looked at me. I mean, we were both like speechless. And my dad, who didn't know from any of this kind of thing, was like, "Babe, what does that mean?" And I go, "I don't think it's good." And then he passed away not too long after that. But I mean, I have a lot of those kind of stories with snakes, but they also bring transformation. And he was in a huge state of transformation, but so was I. And my whole life began to change dramatically after that. So it was important. And I know you guys have heard the story of James and I were at his backyard. We were getting ready to go to Hawaii, but we were sitting outside having a glass of water, actually. We weren't even having a glass of wine. And there were 3 of us back there, and he was married at the time. And we looked up, and we could not believe what we saw. We saw a hawk flying so low over us, and out of the hawk's mouth came this little bird and flew off. And of course, James said, "What does that mean?" And I said, "Well, somebody's going to have their freedom. Something's going on." And it wasn't soon after that he got divorced. So they do bring messages, you know. I mean, if we really pay attention, they bring us messages. It's the darndest thing. They just do. Okay, Joni May says, "Kelly, I would love a card today. So let me get you a card from, again, messages from your guides. Let's go with messages from your guides here. Let me do this. Joanne May, here we go. Give without expectation. That is probably one of the cornerstones of life. Have 0 expectations. As my mother would say, if you have an expectation, you will be disappointed. So give without expectation, which I think is very true. And I also want to give a card to my dear friend Vicki, who's, I know you're watching, Vicki, and I know you've had not an easy time of it. So let's get you a card from your husband talking to heaven. This is so appropriate. "I send you loving signs through nature." And look, that is a blue butterfly. I'll be darned. That is a blue butterfly. Make a wish, Vicki, because that's about a wish, granting a wish here. I think that is unbelievable. Yes, Lori Gravel, there was political already change today. You're absolutely right, because Trump was found guilty on 34 counts. You're right. That is part of this Gandanta, and this is part of this kind of unraveling of intense energy in the next 4 days. It has to do a lot with this Gandanta. Okay, Gina Marie. "Hi, Kelly. As a totem, I feel drawn to birds, hawks, doves, and hummingbirds. But recently, for the first time, I noticed a gopher in this tiny patch of grass on my front lawn. I have never seen a gopher at my house because we live in rocky mountain terrain." Wow. Let me think what gopher, I think gopher is about something new, building something for you that's new, like really investigating something new and bringing it to light. And if anybody's going to do anything new, this is a very powerful time in the world to bring things to fruition. It's a very powerful time for that. So that might be an extraordinary thing to do. So, and if, again, if you're really drawn to birds, I'm also extremely, such a birdie. I just can't get enough of them. Half my pictures on my phone are birds. I mean, I go nuts with these birds. I can't fill up the feeders fast enough. I go nuts with these birds. And I know that they're all around for bringing me messages too. So I always think that's very important, because I love to get messages, especially if I'm going to be doing a reading for somebody. I think it's very important. If I get a message, I need to bring the message to somebody. So Lori Olson, I love this question. She says, "Kelly, do you know if the fairies can leave little totem objects for people? A friend thinks she may have found one." Yes, yes, and yes. Yes, and you never have to apologize if you don't think they're the right questions. This is a perfect question. Nobody has to apologize for anything here. Fairies are unbelievable. They can leave little totems around. They can pick things up and they can move them. In my book, which will be coming out, please God, in July, mid-July, I think, when I talk about a story, I talk about a few stories, but a lot of stories, and have fairy influence on it, and fairies. I know that fairies come in and they pick things up and they move things, particularly outside. Inside too, inside for sure. And outside, the gnomes are very busy, the elementals. So some of us might have elemental. Let's say we're gardeners. Let's say you love the garden. You might have gnomes as your totems, as your spiritual totem. It's a very big possibility. And they are fussy, 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 but they help our garden. If you believe and you love and you help the garden, they are right there helping you. So I love fairies and I love gnomes. It's the darndest thing. I would have never imagined me even saying that out loud. But it's true. I really do. Okay. So Ruth Strazzard says, I had a dream that I was on a lake and at my parents' cottage. In front of the property, I saw a huge turtle swimming. Okay, this is such a good one. It came up and then it swam away. She said, I looked up the meaning and it tells good luck. Yes. So let me talk about turtles. I think turtles are so incredible. I have a fascination with turtles too. I took my daughter when she was 10. I was a Girl Scout leader, shocker. And it was so much fun. I loved it. Anyway, we had 21 girls in our troop and it was so much fun. But I took them to this turtle retreat. I'm not kidding. It was somewhere in Los Angeles, somewhere. And it was the neatest thing to see all of these turtles. You know, I just love turtles. In fact, the first stuffed animal I ever bought for my grandson was a turtle that I got in Tahiti. So turtles are the symbol of the world, of Earth, of literally Mother Earth. So they have the ability to stay grounded even in moments of being disturbed and chaos. So let's say you guys, you're having some chaos, bring in a turtle. Like, you don't have to wait for them to appear. You can summon them, if you will. I need turtle energy. I need turtle energy. You start thinking like that, next thing you know, boom, you're going to get that help. Turtles mean also to slow down. They mean to pace yourself. They mean determination. They bring ancient wisdom, and they bring you emotional strength and understanding. So turtles and turtle wisdom is frankly what the world needs right now. I'm glad you had that dream. Oh, Linda Rainey, she says, what's the message from a black bear? Okay, I love this question because I've had, again, I keep a journal of my dreams. Well, all dreams, but I have a totem dream journal. And one day it was when we lived in Los Angeles, and I was out in my backyard during this dream, and this giant black bear came up to me, put his arm around me, and started walking like this with his arm around me and talking like this. I was scared, to be honest. I was really scared. I mean, I know it was a dream, but it just like kind of flipped me out. And I'll never forget that. But he told me not to be afraid. He said he was there to help me, and he was going to literally help with things like courage for me. And they bring courage, they bring strength, they protect you in life. And it's also a symbol to remind you that you are lovable. And it teaches you to trust your instincts and let go of everything that blocks your path. So I thought that's a great dream. It's great that you have that. I think that is a wonderful. Marge Webb said she saved a baby turtle yesterday. Good on you. She was trying to get out, and this little guy was heading out to the road. You moved him so he wouldn't get run over. Okay, Marge, you're my hero. You know who also does that? My niece Peggy. She has gloves in her car. I think she's done this without gloves, if you ask me. But she'll pick them up and put them onto the side, and there's nobody quite like her. Julie Munsterman said, I think I saw a big blue butterfly in my yard yesterday. Oh my gosh, we're on a roll here. She said, I also had a visit from a huge butterfly, monarch butterfly last weekend. Okay, that's amazing. And she said, I was at a gathering meeting with close relatives for the first time. I thought it was a spirit sign from my mom. So special. 100%. Absolutely your mom. And she said, I've been seeing a lot of doves lately. Now, I have been seeing doves a lot too, Julie, more than usual, like way more than usual. They signify love, actually. They bring love, they bring peace. They want to bring peace to your life. So if you're seeing a lot of doves, it's love and peace. And just to remember that you are loved. I think that's a very big, important one. I think that's a big one here. So I think that would be a good one. Vivian Lessard says, Kellee, would you pull a card for my sister? Yes, I will. Let's get a card for your. Now, did your sister pass, Vivian? Or I think I'm getting the sense that she might have passed. I might be wrong, but if she didn't, then we're going to get a card from this. Oh, okay. They're like having fun with me today. I'm surrounded by loving animals. Okay, there you go. Okay, that's very funny. I love when they co-create with me. And hummingbirds. Linda wants to know about hummingbirds. So hummingbirds are also very, very special. And hummingbirds bring energy. They bring life force. They bring a certain kind of peace with us. It means enjoyment. It means lightness of beings. It means you're invited to experience the sweetness of life. They lift up negativity. So let's say negativity is creeping in and you're having a negative time. Bring in a hummingbird. Even if you see a picture of it, it will lighten that up. And they're capable of doing a lot of things for a small bird. So just always know you're capable of many, many things, and probably letting go of any negativity would be a perfect one for me. Donna Marie says it was giraffes. Okay, so I have to say, Donna, I love giraffes too. Giraffes mean the teacher. They signify the teacher. If you see a dream of a giraffe, all of a sudden it means the teacher, something you're going to learn. Dolphins have to do with the highest consciousness. Dolphins and whales, high, they call it the Christ consciousness. It's a huge deal. Now, you might have seen dolphins actually at the beach or in the water or on a cruise or somewhere where you see them, or you see pictures of them, or you have dreams of them. I often have a lot of dreams of them, and they bring a higher consciousness to it. They're so, so smart. Oh my God, have such ancient wisdom. And pigs at the same time. And now you're seeing turtles and sea turtles. Sea turtles are extraordinary. I mean, again, the turtle wisdom is amazing. So Donna Marie, that means you have lots and lots of totems around you. How wonderful is that? That's very blessed to know that you pay attention. Jen Tran says, I always had a gorilla. Okay, so Jen, gorillas are amazing. I mean, gorillas are extraordinary. Gorillas mean family. They have everything to do with family. It means you have a purpose. It means you have to know your power. It brings self-respect. And it has a lot to do with family and power in family and taking care of family. It's a big, big deal. When I was growing up, I forgot about this. I had a thing with monkeys. I just loved monkeys. Well, it turns out Dr. Shirley has a huge, she's got a chimpanzee problem, I would tell you. She loves chimpanzees. And in fact, she supported one who was in the movies. I'm not making this up. She had this friend who had a chimpanzee who was in the movies, and he was a retired chimpanzee actor. So he retired to this place in Palm Springs, and Shirley goes and pays a lot of money for him and helps him out and takes care of this chimpanzee. And I don't know how old this chimp is, but he's old. But it's just an extraordinary. But chimpanzees mean to walk with wisdom, and they have so much knowledge, and they love to observe humans and it's all about the human condition. So if you are really have an obsession with chimpanzees or really love them, you're a curious person. And I would say Dr. Shirley is a very curious person. In fact, some of the things she'll say is, I'm curious about blah, blah, blah. That is pretty fun. Oh, Stephanie Britzman says, I always had dream of tiny miniature giraffes. Now that's interesting because giraffes are normally so tall. So that could be you as the teacher, or what are you learning? It could be like, what are you learning? Okay, so Sally Sosa says she feels drawn to doves, owls, and lambs. So owls are the female psychic. So owls, so when we say hawks, I talk about the male psychic. And owls are the female psychic. And that means to come into your own wisdom. And again, most people have way more than one totem, but they'll have lots of totems, but they might only have 1, 2, or even 3 or 4 spirit animals. Little different than the totem. The totems would be the ones that all of a sudden you get a message from this, or you get a new message from that. Those are the totems. But owls is a huge, I'm sure that's probably one of my main guides, actually, is probably owl, now that I think about it. I think that works. Laurel Davies says, is there a tiger goddess in Bali or somewhere? Perhaps it is part of you. I wonder, Laurel, and I am looking forward to seeing you tomorrow too. And I wonder, Laurel, if there is a tiger goddess. That, I've never been to Bali. That is someplace that I really, really want to go to. And I am going to go there. And I don't know when, but I'm planning on it. And Michelle King, I wanted to tell you, Michelle, thank you for your giving us somebody to be on our show, because Renee, our producer, you gave us a really great person that does QHHT, and she is going to be on our show with James in about 3 weeks. So we're really excited, Michelle. So thank you for that. And your totem is the pine grosbeak. I actually do not know what the pine grosbeak is, so I can't even speak of that. But thank you for alerting me to it. A pine grosbeak. If anybody knows what that is, please let me know, because I do not know. Okay, Adeline Murch. Hi, Adeline. She says, a painted turtle was right on my path today. Any ideas what that means? Yes, it really has to do with, again, with your own wisdom, with your own maybe slowing down a bit, maybe to, to enjoy Earth while we're all here, Judy Loveland says, hi, Kelly. I love this topic. Well, thank you. Me too. Okay. Cheryl Wharton says, Kelly, I've been stuck since COVID, and I've even moved to Toronto, and I'm still waiting. January 29th. Well, let's get you a card from your guides. This energy is this is a big, heavy duty energy that's coming up, Cheryl. I don't know why you're stuck, but thoughts create your reality. So change your thoughts. If anybody saw our show that we had on Monday with Ellen Weir on it, Ellen Wilton, I think is her name. She was a wonderful guest. And she talked about thoughts. She had a near-death experience. And what she learned on the other side was thoughts. You cannot have a negative thought. So if you say, I'm still waiting, you will still be waiting. If you say you're stuck, you will still be stuck. Instead, it would be, I'm no longer stuck. I'm making changes now. And you just start saying that. And then watch things start to change for you, honey. They'll change. Okay, Maria Carpdiem, I keep seeing peacocks. Okay, peacocks mean great transformation. I mean, like in a big, big way, great transformation. They mean, what do they call that? The rising of the phoenix. It's the phoenix rising. That's what I meant to say. Peacocks are extraordinary because they bring integrity. They bring love. They mean to the importance of facing life's challenges, as well as the unknown courage, to have courage and confidence. And so it often means a time of rebirth. It's a very, very good one. A very good one. If anybody has a thing about polar bears, I wanted everybody to know that polar bears are really interesting, because they say that they're the shamans, that they're visionaries, and they have the most unbelievable abilities, intuition. And they believe that light workers really work a lot with polar bears, because polar bears help them show them where the ley lines are, which I always thought was very, very interesting here. I love this. Okay, Kim Ann says, I had an amazing totem even during COVID. I travel, so COVID decimated our industry. Things were very hard, and I was dealing with a major depression. In the summer of 2020, I was outside walking towards the basement door when I heard this metal clink. I stopped, I heard it again. I looked around and I couldn't see anything. Then I looked at the metal gate and just outside the basement door, and when I did, the grate lifted up a few inches and bumped back down, making that sound. And I walked over and saw nothing. Okay, I'm not sure where we go with that because I'm not sure what it was that you saw. But if you get a chance, let us know. Now I'm very curious. I have to hold that thing as I don't know. Carlene Reese says, I'm afraid of horses. You know, a lot of people are, Carlene. A lot of people are. I love to look at them. I'm not necessarily think I'm going to get up and ride one, but I love to look at them. Black dragon for me, Rhonda. Now that is an amazing totem, actually. Dragon is amazing. If you've ever had dreams of dragons, I have, and they are something else. Just even having a dream of a dragon. Dragons urge us to use our powers of healing and to better ourselves physically, emotionally, and spiritually. And few creatures actually embody that kind of spiritual transformation as a dragon. And in feng shui, the dragon, as we know, the year of the dragon represents fortune, authority, growth, luck, and development. So they also mean to overcome anything. And that would probably mean that a dragon was probably your spirit animal. Totally. Frank Sanchez says, hi, Frank. Greetings. During meditation, I've discovered my animal totem, and it's a white deer stag. Oh, that's wonderful. And it guides me and stands back. It recovers me when I'm back from a celestial mindset. How great is that, Frank? Oh, my gosh. And deer are quite amazing. We have a lot of deer around here. And they're highly sensitive, and they have strong intuition. So it brings the power to deal with challenges with grace and the ability to be vigilant and move quickly and trust your instincts. So and to be able to change directions. Very good. And some people are so devoted to dogs. I really need to say that a dog can be your totem. You could absolutely have lost your beloved dog, and that dog could be your totem. I mean, that absolutely can happen. And dogs, I always say, dog is God backwards, and they have this loyalty. They have such a loyalty and a protection and bravery and devotion. And so some of us have that as their guide. And so just know, everybody, yes, Karen Sweeney says, can you have different spirit animals? Also, can they change throughout your life? Yes, great question. So let me answer that with this. When I first started having these spiritual experiences after my head injury, one of the first dreams I ever had was of a clock. So imagine a clock with, instead of 12 numbers on it, with all the time, every where the number 1, 2, 3 would be was an animal. And what I knew at that dream, and I don't know how I knew this, but I knew that at different times in my life, it would be an elephant would be watching me. A different time would be a lion that would be watching me. A different time would be, a horse. It would be different. It would be different thing. And it was a very important. So yes, the answer is that can change. Absolutely. And I do, before I forget, I want to talk about hawk, because I know, Lori, you had talked that you saw, I put this really fun thing that somebody had sent me. My friend Charlene sent me that. Thank you, Charlene. On my website, just for fun. I mean, not on my website, on my Facebook, it's all about finding your totem real fast. It's kind of a fun. But I know that Lori Counts, you had the lion. And lion spirit animal represents courage, strength, and overcoming difficulties. And it also can mean that something that is wild, out of control is happening, but that you have the power to deal with all of it. And so it's very, very important. Lion totem keeps us protected and brings us deep, deep strength here. I think it's one of the most important totems that we can have, actually. So again, everybody, thank you for all your questions. And I hope that you can, figure out what totem is with you. And tonight, before you go to bed, ask your guides to ask your spirit animal to come with you in a dream. Keep a dream journal, and then keep a totem journal, because that's really, really fun. It's a lot of fun to do. And then next week, next Thursday, Dr. Shirley Impellizzeri, Carrie Gonia, and me are all going to be together next Thursday on my show. We'll be talking about one of our favorite topics, which is healing family trauma. So please join us on June 22nd for the 3 Faces of Trauma, and then join me and Shirley and Carrie next week to talk about it. It's going to be a lot of fun. And we're together. When we're together, it's a lot of high energy, and we'll be answering your questions of, anything psychological, anything spiritual, anything generational, because Carrie specializes in generational trauma. We cover it all. We cover all the bases. And then Monday, I have to leave you with this. Monday, we have an incredible guest on Life After Death and Beyond with James Van Praagh and Kellee White. We have Anita Moorjani on, and she wrote the book Dying to Be Me. So her book is like a major bestseller. It was a major bestseller. So we're really excited to have Anita on our show for Monday. So please join us on Monday. And take care, my friends, and I will see you all next week. Take care.
You've been listening to Ask Me Anything, featuring spiritual medium and psychotherapist Kellee White.